Righto, guys, what is happening? Welcome back to the stable. Round 16 ins and outs. It's Tommy here this evening. I will be doing this one. I'll be covering this one. This one's got a little bit of implications, right? Round 16, it's a horrid buy for us all. A really, really difficult buy. There's a lot of big names out, and it's just about how we can get through this. Obviously, we need the players on the bench to be playing. So with that being said, the rookies that you have on your bench are really, really important this round, particularly if if you can avoid a lot of those players, those big primos from your St Kilda and your Dogs and your Geelong and Melbourne and stuff like that. We're going to need as many players as we can to play. So this is very, very important. We obviously know Brisbane Lions or Sydney Swans, that was announced last night. Laddams is in, so if you're a Grundy owner or you were looking to go to Grundy from Xerri, which because of the Xerri injury, some people may have got a bit trigger happy with that, but I'm not. If that's a little caveat for what we're doing this week, I'm not getting trigger happy on Xerri just yet, but some people may. Errol Gulden, a massive in for the Swans, a massive in for Supercoach, 566,000. So he is a big primo, but it's good to see him back. He's a weapon on his day. Ryan Lester back for the Lions. Brain is out. Roberts, McLean, Kyle out for the Swans. McCartan back in, obviously, with Laddam. So let's move on into Hawthorn v Giants. So Flynn Perez is back. That's good to see. I had an actual inkling that Perez was going to be back because Impey was injured and Weddle was suspended. So there was a part of me that thought, okay, he's probably going to return. So that's good to see, because I've held on to Perez for such a long time because obviously he hasn't had that much cash growth. So if he can just maybe stay the course for a couple of weeks, it might be my way out to potentially another player. Nam is omitted. Jack Dalton is in. Cashel Dia and Perez. For the Giants, we have Max Gruszewski. Harrison Oliver is back in. Laverde and Jesse Hogan injured. So, look, I mean, Hogan's had a bit of a bad run at it this year, but that's good to see for Perez if you've held on to him. And that would mean that they still have, where's that three-prong rookie trio that they have? I'm just trying to find it. Bear with me. Is it McDonald? McDonald's not there? And Bodie Ryan, is he not there? So, oh no, they're emergencies. Right, so Bodie Ryan's an emergency. Is McDonald? There he is. McDonald's still in, so he's still got a chance. And obviously Perez is back in. Don't know how long it's going to be for, but you take it. You know what I mean? We take it. Nothing really different for the Giants. Lockie Whitfield, Lockie Ash, the big names. They're all in. Moving on, Carlton, unchanged, which is massive. That's fabulous for me. That's massive news. And I'll tell you why it's massive news for me, because I have Dirksen. Now, that's very, very important because Dirksen is going to make cash because his break-even's like 8. So all he's got to do is hit like a 20 or a 30, and he's made me money, which really can... You don't want to get too crazy with it, but like it's my way to Naz, basically, Dirksen. So it allows me a little bit more now. Like at this present time, I've got Will Day in my squad, but this might give me a little bit extra because if Dirksen can make like 20K, I might be able to get up to like Newcomb or Neal. And I like Day, don't get me wrong, but the injury history with Day scares me. So this is really, really good for me to see Dirksen in. I'm very, very happy with that. Willem Dersma, Jack Graham, McCarthy, and Hutchinson all back in. Kelly injured. I wasn't aware of that. Johnston, Lindsay, and Tom Gross are all out. Let's have a look at the lineup. Yeah, so Dirksen's in. Interesting thing here is Wiedering is not in. So that was the big concern, that Wiedering was going to come in, Dirksen was going to lose his spot. I mean, that is pretty much the like for like, isn't it? Dirksen for Wiedering. So the fact that he's got one more week is just massive. He's just got to get a 20 or a 30. Just make 20 to 30K, and that will elevate into some nice stuff. So Harry Dean, Billy Wilson are still there. And obviously for Carlton, no other unchanged. Jack Eisen remains in, which is kind of crazy. He's been pretty poor the last couple of weeks, so I'm surprised that he's still really in that role. And for Herbert's in for Coast. I mean, he was in last week, but still keeping his role, so that's cool to see. So Tim Kelly's injury, I wasn't aware of that. Hopefully it's not long term. I'll have to have a look in that because he was always kind of an option for me in the forward line. I think he's played some really good footy this year, so that sucks, but hopefully it's not long term. We will have a look later. All right, moving on. Pies v Richmond. Right. So, interesting one. That sucks. So, the pods is omitted already. Okay, so that's going to hurt a lot of people for their emergency in the forward line this week because I know that some people have a lot of people out in their forward line, and he would have been a nice forward, emergency forward. Pendlebury's in. Jack Ross is back for the Tigers. Mansell, Sonzi, and Fawcett omitted. That's interesting. Again, Fawcett was a emergency for some people on the forward line. I thought Anderson was coming back in for the Pies this week. I'm a massive Pies fan, as we all know. I thought he was straight back in, so that's interesting to me. We're opting against that. Ned Long keeps his spot instead. Coming, Sammy Grills, Anand is still there. Taj Houghton. I'll be honest, guys. I actually like the Tigers list. I'll be real. I like some of the young players they got. Yeah, I'd be bullish if I was a Tigers fan for the next few years. Like, there's some good quality players there. Even Jasper Algo is pretty good. Even Lafau, he's got some nice little neat touches in there. So yeah, I mean, but it's pretty much the same for Collingwood. Like I said, a bit disappointed Anderson's not there. Damati has come onto the emergency, but he probably won't play. Sonzi's in the emergency, and so is Pods. So yeah, look, that's pretty rough on Pods. I don't think he played too bad. Like, who are we opting for instead? You know what I mean? Like, De Go is forward, so that would suggest he's probably going to play more forward this week. Maybe give him a rest in the middle because obviously they believe they can beat Richmond. So interesting one. So I've had to flick Anderson this week anyway, but I would have liked to see him get a little bit more money. But anyway, it is what it is. And we will move on to the next one, Port versus Crows. Let's have a look at this. So I heard from the little birdie around, the Supercoach scout, I heard that Milera was managed. So it says injured here, but I think he's managed. I'm not sure how long term this is, or if it's just a 1 weeker. But yeah, it said that he was managed, but it says here injured. But we'll take it with a pinch of salt. Worrell's back in. Isaac Cumming is in. Wines, Vincentini, Jacob Weir, Sadal, and Zerk Thatcher, who's out. Obviously, regularly. Tom Marshall admitted, yeah, look, he was dross against the Pies. He really was. So if you still have Marshall, you really got to move him on. He wasn't great. But in terms of Supercoach, we love to see that Hawker Hahn has kept his spot in the half-back spot. So really, really interesting thing is here, because Hawker Hahn is one you really got to keep your eye on, because he was straight in. So mid-draft, straight in, right? And you've got the likes of Milera, Worrell, Mark Keane. Mark Keane comes back this week, last week, and he was with Milera, and he was still in. And then Worrell's back in this week. He's still in now. Milera is not. Isaac Cumming is playing in Milera's role. So I'm pretty bullish on this. I think that he can last. There's a lot of people, like our fellow Dense Stallion member Jack himself, he's a little bit nervous about the longevity of Hawker Hahn, but I think he can last, guys. I do. I think he's neat, really neat, and I think they might just move him to a wing spot or something like that. Maybe his minutes diminish over time, but I think he's still going to keep a role. I think he's a really, really, really good, tidy player. So that wraps it up for Port and Adelaide. Let's move on to North versus Essendon. We know, Jai Coolwell's back in. Parrish, Kako. This one's interesting. I love how Archie Roberts is out. Like, we know Roberts is out. He didn't do a shoulder last week. Oh, because of the bye. Oh, wow. Okay, fair enough. So, Xerri's injured, we know. That apparently is only a 1 to 2 week maximum. So, it might sound crazy to a lot of people. You've really got to think about Tristan Xerri. This is massive. This might be the most important decision. I'm going to be honest here. This could be the most important decision of the Supercoach season. Why is it the most important decision? Because if you move off Xerri, and you're well entitled to, but if you move off Xerri, you probably won't be able to get him back, right? Because trades are getting tight and stuff like that. But if he comes back, and granted, he's getting a rest now, so he's going to have, maybe 1-2 weeks rest. If he comes back and they just say full gas for finals, and they're a sniff in the wild card, the 7 for 7. I think they're in 10th spot right now, North Melbourne. They're above Collingwood. So they will be a sniff, and you would think that if it gets tight enough, they will put him straight back in as number 1 ruck. I can't see him playing third ruck for majority of the rest of the year. And I could be wrong. Maybe they are shifting the tide. I just think this injury is going to be good for Xerri. The break even's really low. It's only 68. He got 108 as a third ruckman. You've got to remember that. We're all getting blown up about his role, but he's still got 108, which is ridiculous for a third ruck. I just don't think, unless you're blessed with like 10 to 12 trades, and I'm talking 10 to 12, not fucking 7, not 5, not 4. If you've got 10 to 12, by all means trade him, because then you can maybe work it back in. I just don't think if you're that short on it, you just hold. It might hurt you for a week or two, but he will become a massive, massive pod late season. I'm sure of it. A massive pod late season, because so many people are going to jump off him. They're going to get scared. They're going to think he's done. And if he comes back fresh, who knows, man? Let's think of it this way. He deserves the punt. He's that good. He deserves the punt. Parrish is back. Caco's in. Edwards is in. McGrath's in. Caldwell's in. So I'm a little bit nervous for Durham. I'll be honest. Because where does he go? He was playing a lot, like 80% middle of the ground. They've got him in the middle. But, they've still got Setterfield. Merritt, I think, is playing off half back. So I'm interested to see where Durham's position is, because if it's not in the middle, he's not going to be a viable trade. I'm a little worried about it. I'll be honest. I'm a little worried about that Durham trade. Caldwell back, Parrish back. They're going to go straight in the guts, and they've already got Setterfield. I mean, Zardes is out, so that does help. But if Merritt plays midfield minutes, like, where does Durham go? I don't know. That's a punt. We're all talking about Durham being a real good cash gen, but it is a punt because it's Essendon and you just don't know what they're going to do. But that about wraps that game up. Moving on to Fremantle versus Gold Coast. Let's see what's going on here. So, yeah, look, this one this right here. This right here. Right? This is what we need to talk about. And if you've seen any of my videos prior to basically him getting injured, you would see me talk about how Fremantle, I know that they're going to say that, we're top of the league. And if you're a Fremantle fan, you're going to disagree with this, but I don't care. I'm saying it. This manager continues, coach, head coach, whatever, he continues to make the same fucking mistake over and over and over and over again with these ruckmen. I am telling you, I can confidently say this. This will cost them a flag. I dead set. I 100% believe this. They will not win anything with Sean Darcy playing majority fucking ruck. They just won't. And every time he gets injured, he just comes straight back. He is not it. Like, how good has Jackson been playing majority ruck and Cox filling in? That has been so good. You know what's funny? They didn't lose a game. They didn't lose a single game with that duo. Not one. They didn't lose a game. And now he's dropped him because Darcy's back. He's finished. He is not the ruckman that they think he is. And the problem is, Darcy's not as flexible. So Darcy can't go forward as much. So that means that Jackson has to go forward as much. So it just ruins everything in terms of Supercoach. Jackson still is a unicorn, so he's amazing. He will still get points. But I do not understand why he's straight back in. Like, it is going to affect him. He is not the player that he once was. And in terms of Supercoach, it does affect Jackson. It's just so fucking annoying. Like, what has he done to deserve his role? Genuinely, tell me. I'm not saying Cox is the greatest ever, because he's not. But, like, Jackson could genuinely be the best ruckman in the competition. No doubt about it. Arguably the best player in the comp. And they're just bringing Sean Darcy back in. I don't get it. I'll never get it. I'll just never get it. Gold Coast, bringing in a lot of players, but no one in terms of Supercoach value. Rioli's injured, so that will help Johnny Noble and stuff like that, because they'll pretty much get majority of the halfback role now, so that's good for myself. But yeah, looking at the team, it's pretty much unchanged for Freo, except for fucking, Darcy. Wagner's back in, O'Meara, Xerri. Xerri was a little, downgrade option earlier year, but not anymore. We want to see a little bit more from Matt Rao. Not seen enough of it so far, but he needs to get moving. So hopefully he can start to get those high scores that he was in his Brownlow year. Noah Anderson's been an absolute lock, been fantastic. Like, since he's got the appendix out, he looks like a different player, or looks more like the player that he was. Sarong, obviously, looks still cheap, so it could be a potential option for people. I probably won't go back to him. I mean, he can get those scores, and he's against Gold Coast, which Gold Coast do nothing about midfielders. So I don't know. There's an option there, maybe him or Brayshaw, but I just don't think either of them go off when, those massive scores when neither of them are in the side. So that's tough. But yeah, we will see how it goes. That about wraps it up today, guys, for round 16. No massive outs. That's good. So, like, in terms of players, like, maybe taking a rest or anything like that, there's no monster outs. Maybe Milera, if you have him, that kind of sucks. Pods is out for Collingwood, so maybe that's a bit of an issue for you. Fawcett, I know a couple of players in my league have him. Carlton stay unchanged. Tim Kelly, if you have him. So yeah, maybe there is a couple for years, but all in all, I think everyone's kind of avoided any monster massive outs for big massive primo, so that's decent. So hopefully you guys have a good round. This one is a tough one, round 16. This is going to be everybody's hardest round, I believe. So you just got to get through it. Don't. This would be my advice: is just to be patient. Just be patient this round. Don't go crazy, because you probably won't be able to get back to it. So it might hurt for maybe a round or two, but I'm talking maybe Xerri. But if you've traded him already, then that's up to you. But yeah, I think this is the time you just want to remain calm if you can. Just remain calm, because everyone's going to be back soon. Hopefully by round 18, Xerri will be back, and then it will be all goods. But yeah, that about wraps it up, guys. Ins and outs tonight. I need to make some decisions now for my team. Obviously, we've got about half an hour to do it, so we need to jump on in, and hopefully it'll all work out for myself this week. But it's tough. It is tough, because we got to plan for the future. There's a couple players that are going to almost be. You almost have to get them next week, otherwise you'll never be able to get them. So we have to plan for that. But that about wraps up, guys. Hopefully you have a good Supercoach weekend. Let me know how you guys are going. Comments below. And we'll see you on Monday for our update videos, and Tuesdays for the lives as usual. And take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.